Hey, how's it going guys? Welcome back to another video. So in today's video I'm actually doing a long overdue collection update. So I've been talking about this one for a while, but just things have been a little busy here. I'm moving house soon, so I've been preparing some things. And also, as you know, I've been joining some threads, so those threads keep coming. There's still some more I'd like to do, but this is one where I've been meaning to do it for a while because there's some CDs which I picked up at Steelfest when I was over in Finland. So that was quite a few weeks ago now, so I'd just like to get this done before I do the move on Friday. So I'm not going into my personal life too much, but I'm moving into city this week, so it's going to be very busy. So I just thought, who knows when I'll get the next chance to do a video. There's also a thread I'd like to do, so I'm just going to do it today. And as I said, it's long overdue. So these CDs, yep, I picked up at an on-site shop at Steelfest, and they were just some Finnish black metal albums, all Finnish, which is appropriate since Steelfest is in Finland, which I'd been meaning to pick up for a while. So just titles where I've always wanted them, but they've been hard to get, or shipping's been expensive, something like that. So without further ado, we'll get straight into it. So how many CDs have I got? 6 actually, so I'm not going to talk about it in too much detail. So the first one I picked up, this is Druiden Forest with, I always forget the title, The Lovemaster's Time. So first of all, look at that brilliant striking artwork, so atmospheric with the hooded figure. This is just a new addition to the collection, but this could go under some of my favorite artworks. This is so atmospheric with that figure in front of the forest. So I heard about this band actually through other people on YouTube, and I was actually expecting it to be more like dungeon synth, you know, which is that sort of atmospheric medieval music done with a lot of keyboards. It was first sort of championed or introduced by Mortis, so he's considered the founder of dungeon synth. But the funny thing is, this is actually a bit more than that. There are elements of dungeon synth on there, but there's also black metal. So we'll go into that. So this is a really enchanting journey, this album. So it takes you into mystical fantasy worlds. So picture something like a combination of medieval times and Lord of the Rings, like folklore, magic, wizardry, that kind of thing. That's the kind of imagery it invoked for me anyway. So it takes you on this real journey. And what's interesting is it starts off almost like a dungeon synth album, like very atmospheric, keyboard based with some sort of medieval type percussion, so it sets the mood really well. And then it slowly eases into it, but then what happens is it gradually evolves into slow black metal. So when I say slow black metal, it's got the raspy vocals, it's got the keyboards, but obviously the tempo is slow. So, you know, think along the lines of Ancient Wisdom, something like that. But yeah, this has a unique sound, but it's sort of like, I just like the way there's this really gradual build up and then they merge styles. So like transcending dungeon synth and going into slow black metal, and then really atmospheric, loads of keyboards. Like I said, it paints pictures in your mind of medieval and fantasy worlds, in my opinion anyway. So it's sort of like a really atmospheric album to listen to, especially if you just sit back, close your eyes and listen. And then after the midsection, where it's all black metal, it slowly eases out into dungeon synth again. So it's sort of like increases in extremity and then becomes somber again. So like it's a real sonic journey, the whole album. I've listened to this so many times since I've got it. It's so like basically if you like dungeon synth, if you like atmospheric black metal, especially slow black metal or a combination of those, you will love this, and I highly recommend it. It's just like sets a certain mood for me, which I really enjoy. So yeah, just show you the inner booklet. Doesn't come with a lyric sheet, very basic, and just this disc here. Yeah, so yeah, fantastic stuff, and this is why I like to go on other people's recommendations, because it's usually worthwhile. So fantastic album. This is Druiden Forest with, once again, The Lovemaster's Tome. Okay, I might have said time before, but no, Time, Lovemaster's Time. So there you go, I should bother with titles. Alright, okay, so coming up next, this is another album that I've been wanting to pick up for a long time, and I'm so glad that I did because it's awesome. This is Faustian Pact, another Finnish black metal band, and please excuse me as I attempt to read the title. This is Uttoen Tonien Varjossa. See, my Finnish is absolutely terrible. Visiting the country didn't help my Finnish at all. But yeah, this album, all titles are in Finnish, and again, I had heard other people on YouTube recommending this, and I thought, based on their excellent stellar descriptions, I really wanted to pick this up. And it's actually quite different again to what I was expecting, but in a good way. Excuse me for a moment, I'm just going to consult my notes. Okay, yep, so what this is, I was expecting it to be more sort of like raw or traditional black metal, but actually it's quite different to that in a really good way. It reminded me of a lot of bands in the 90s. How would I describe Faustian Pact, or at least this album? From my notes here, this is upbeat mid-paced melodic black metal. So what it consists of is very striking and memorable riffs. The melody is very strong, and it's layered with a lot of keyboards and harmonies. The vocals, they have that typical sort of raspy black metal style, but they also feature occasional female vocals and spoken word sections, which make it sort of majestic and epic. Yeah, so that's how I would describe it. If you like your black metal where it's sort of like melodic and mid-paced and catchy, definitely check this out. And as I said, the melodies are really striking. So with the synthesizers, they're pretty much going the whole time actually, and it's interesting because they use a variety of sounds with the synthesizers. So sometimes they use different effects, like those of keyboards, pianos, organs, or even bells. So it's got like a variety in the synth approach as well. And once again, like a lot of Finnish black metal bands, the riffs are really easy to hum or sing along to. And while it is primarily a mid-paced album, it occasionally slows down into bouncy and memorable breakdowns, and there's also some interludes of like fast blast beats. So it's a variety of tempos, but it's just so excellent, stunning and striking. It's brilliant. It also presents a variety of moods, this particular album. So sometimes it's upbeat and energetic, sometimes it's melancholic and sorrowful, other times it's reflective, and sometimes it's evil and haunting. Sometimes it's a combination of those things in one particular song. So as I said, it captures a variety of emotions, but it's still consistently within the thematic and atmospheric realms of the black metal genre, which we've come to expect. So yeah, as I said, upbeat and energetic, yet also epic and reflective. And it was just really fresh to hear something like this. You know, in this day and age where there's so many raw black metal bands that sound like third-rate Dark Throne and, you know, sounding a bit derivative, this really stood out to me, so I highly recommend it. Now, this whole album, there are 10 tracks and they're all brilliant. I could go on all day, like every single track is good, but some of my favorites, I'm not going to read the titles because they're all in Finnish, so that's a task in itself. But yeah, my favorite tracks, so track 2, that's symphonic and haunting. Now track 7, that's got such an enchanting keyboard melody over this really epic riff. It's got some memorable female vocals over the top, and also a fast and frantic midsection with haunting spoken word vocals. So you see what I'm getting at with the variety in these songs. Now track 9, that's very bombastic and grandiose with some timpani, you know, like kettle drums, but also some striking keyboard melodies, awesome riffs, and haunting keyboards. It's absolutely brilliant. Love that. And my other favorite track is the last track, track 10. That is got this bombastic, triumphant riff backed by warlike organs. Also the blistering riff where it gets really fast in this song is so good to the backdrop of haunting and atmospheric keyboards. It really is such a brilliant, bouncy, striking and melodic riff. I can't emphasize that enough. And there's also some enchanting keyboards interlaced with the music throughout the song, and some really dramatic spoken word and choral vocals. And it's just amazing. On that last track, the riffs just keep coming. Like so many, you know, I've said it many times, but I don't know what they're putting in the water in Finland, but it's just riff-tastic. But yeah, this album, every single track is good, but my favorites, some there are 2, 7, 9, and 10, but absolutely brilliant. Now I'll just show you the disc. So there's the band logo, which is pretty cool. And showing you this artwork, kind of obscure, this castle kind of landscape. And really nice detailed booklet actually, with plenty of pictures. If I can get the damn thing open. Here we go. Yeah, and yeah, oh, there you go. They actually translate the lyrics into English as well, which is handy. But yeah, all original lyrics are in Finnish. So pictures of the band, and you see it's a really nice layout with this. Nice portrait of members of the band. So it's a 3-piece band, I think. Yeah. Yeah, so that's what I like about these a lot of these Finnish black metal bands as well. They don't skimp on the packaging, and it really is a complete package of excellent music, presentation, and everything. So yeah, as I said, if you like melodic, mid-paced, striking black metal, and you like your black metal which is atmospheric with keyboards and dramatic spoken word vocals, I couldn't recommend this enough. So that is Faustian Pact with Autojen Tonien Varjossa, my poor and Finnish. All right. Okay, so coming up next, the next 3 releases are all by the one band, also a Finnish black metal band. So I have mentioned this before, so I'm going to keep it brief. This band is kind of infamous for its extreme political views, right-wing political views, and as I've mentioned before as well, I'm not interested in those. I don't condone or support those views. To me, what black metal is about is the music, so I listen to it for the music, okay? So just making that clear. So the band, you may have guessed the band I'm going to talk about, it is of course Goatmoon. So I picked up 3 albums by Goatmoon, which I don't own. So this is the first one. This is Death Before Dishonour. So this is the alternative cover. Some people are probably thinking, that looks plain for Goatmoon's Death Before Dishonour. But if you look inside, this is the cover that most people are familiar with. So there's Black Goat. I think that's the alternative artwork. And here you have the disc. And yeah, so this is quite a minimalist one. I think this was Goatmoon's first album, you know, and Goatmoon is primarily a one-man band, so Black Goat, but he has used session members before. Now this one is interesting because a lot of people who know Goatmoon understand that they have a unique sound. It's kind of like punky black metal with a lot of folk elements to it, you know, like flutes and folky melodies, that kind of thing. This is quite different actually. This is the very first album, and it's very much within the realms of standard black metal, sort of like a bit of a cross between old school black metal and raw black metal. And let me just be clear, I'm not really a huge fan of modern day raw black metal because there's a lot of garbage in there, you know, like with bands again sounding like third-rate Dark Throne and like really shitty production like Wooden Spoons slapping an ass and distant vocals, that kind of thing. This is not like that though. This is still a lot riffier than raw black metal, but I will say this, that it's kind of it's more sort of standard run-of-the-mill black metal, and I don't mean that in any bad way, but it's just not as distinct as subsequent Goatmoon albums where you think of that particular melody or atmosphere. So this is probably when he was still evolving his sound, you know, taking influence from traditional black metal, but yeah, still very good. So like I said, old school raw black metal, but it's a lot riffier. Like there's different tempos, so like some mid-pace sections, some chugging sections. So again, I still think it's much more memorable than general raw black metal. The drums are really sort of chaotic and blasting and bombastic. They remind me a little bit of Judas Iscariot drumming. You know, he was also a one-man band. You know, where it sounds kind of like frantic and erratic sometimes, and like, but it's sort of, I suppose that adds to the charm of the rawness of the music. But really good, and there's some great standout moments on this. Like I said, it's just not the sound which Goatmoon came to be in the end. So like, it's still a very good album though, and I do like it for something different. If you just want that blasting, screeching, raw, old school black metal sound, this is a good album. And I think from what I remember, sort of the catchier songs are towards the end. So like a lot of albums, it takes some time to warm up. But yeah, really good, and I'm glad I just got this to add to the collection. So that's Goatmoon with Death Before Dishonour. Okay, so up next, another Goatmoon album. This is one that I've been meaning to pick up for ages, and it's famous, it's classic, most people know it. This is Goatmoon with Finnish Steel Storm, which is perhaps his most famous or infamous album, you could say. Yeah, so this is the one where when I first heard Goatmoon, I heard the song Alone, which is track 2 from this album. This is an absolutely brilliant album. This is where he has evolved his sound into that kind of sort of folky, epic black metal, and it's so riffy, it's so good. Like, I remember seeing an interview with Black Goat in that Finnish black metal documentary, and he said, I actually started a band because I got sick of guys who couldn't write good riffs. Say what you want about this guy in terms of his controversial opinions, but this guy can write riffs. He can just shit out riffs, which are so good. Like, it's just so many brilliant riffs within each song. It's so catchy, and let me go into a little detail about this. So yeah, this album contains a variety of tempos ranging from blast beats to mid-paced and catchy sections to fast punky sections. So, you know, a lot of you will know that Goatmoon sounds kind of punky, and there's even slow and melodic parts or acoustic parts. So it's a really nice mix variety of everything. And the riffs are striking and brilliant, filled with melody, and they really just etch into your brain. And I'll say this, I've known this for some years now, but even when I was at Steelfest listening to the Finnish black metal bands, there's something about modern day Finnish black metal, where they just write these really epic melodic riffs which just etch into your brain. They really stick there. And I think Goatmoon was one of the bands which sort of formulated that sound for the scene, in my opinion. But yeah, this album has got 10 tracks on it, and they're all good. I find no complaint with any of them musically. But just some of my favorites. Now, again, the writing's a bit hard to read, but it is decipherable. So track 1, Eclipsed by Raven Wings. The mid-pace section of that song is so good. It's got some folky melodies done with keyboards and a kind of flute effect, which is just like very folky and easy to sing along to. And it also features the cawing of crows in the background, you know, like Satanic Warmaster, which adds to that grim kind of atmosphere. Now, track 2, as I mentioned, that's called Alone. It's funny, you know, the first time I heard that track Alone, I actually laughed out loud because I thought, you know, the melodies sound very jolly and happy, and I thought it sounded a bit silly. But having said that, it takes a while to grow on you. So if you're familiar with that song, it consists of some fast and catchy punk riffs, but then the melodies are very sort of quirky. It's like ding 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 ding. But like yeah, like I said, for the first time it struck me as quite strange, but it has grown on me a lot, which is really good. And towards the end there are just some melodic and acoustic parts too. And the good thing about this band is when he plays the acoustic guitar, it just flows so well, and it's got this really sort of just somber, mellow atmosphere contrasting to the violent parts of the song. So really good. Now track 3, which is called Bitter Winter of Oppression. There are some keyboard melodies there over the top of triumphant and emotional riffs. That's just brilliant. Also track 5, Finnish Steel Storm, so the title track, that's got more brilliantly hooky, catchy and melodic riffs. There's a mid-pace section where the vocals kick in with some choral vocals superimposed over the top. Also some flutes in the midsection and some somber acoustic melodies to finish off the song. So a real mixed bag in that song. And my other favorite track on this was track 8, Mythical Storm, I think it's called. Yeah, which has got some Viking choral vocals. So you see how the sound has evolved from this album, where it was basically raw black metal, to incorporating so many different elements. So keyboards, folky melodies, flutes, clean vocals like Viking vocals, acoustic guitars. It really is fantastic from beginning to end. I've listened to this so many times already and think it's fantastic. So like I said, the political views of this band, and I haven't bothered with the lyrics of this because I know they're quite extreme. You know, like I don't condone those lyrics. Like when I remember reading them once and going, oh no, not for me. So yeah, but as I've said, it's ultimately about the music. So just show you, yep, you've got some liner notes there and cool iconic photo of the raven or eagle with the inverted cross, and there's Black Goat there, and it talks, I think this was actually a full band on this album, but they only show the photo of Black Goat there. So I won't show you the disc because it actually contains an image which I think is in really poor taste. You know, like I said, I mentioned before, I don't support those political views, and yeah, so I'm not going to condone that. But musically, absolutely brilliant album. So if you haven't checked it out, definitely do so if you're a black metal fan. So that's Goatmoon with Finnish Steel Storm. And remember, it's ultimately about the music. It's funny that people think that just because a band holds certain views and you listen to them, you must think the same. Absolute nonsense. Like, if everyone shared the views of the bands they listen to, I think nowhere near as many people would like all the bands that they do. Okay, I know that's a mouthful, but like, it's like, you think of even mainstream rock stars and everything, like, everyone's entitled to have their views, but you don't have to agree with them. So some people find that hard to understand. All right, so the next one, I also picked up another Goatmoon album. This is the third one. This is Goatmoon with Voitto Tai Valhalla. So again, a Finnish title. Once again, I apologize for my Finnish pronunciation. But yeah, I've always liked this cover art, like that kind of demonic figure in the snowstorm. That's the funny thing about Goatmoon. It's sort of a variety of topics, like they cover Satanism. I mean, there's those sort of political songs, you know, or songs talking about topics which I find dubious, to be honest. But then they also talk about like traditional black metal satanic lyrics and also nature worshipping lyrics. I'm fine with that. To me, that's what black metal's about. So yeah, this is another brilliant album. I noticed Gordon showed this on his Instagram the other day, and I said I picked it up recently. So good. Of the albums, I think I own about 5 Goatmoon albums now. I would say this is my second favorite, probably, and my favorite being Finnish Steel Storm at this stage. But this is another brilliant album. So, what can be said about this album? It's very much in the same vein as Finnish Steel Storm, but what I like about this band is they always develop their sound and they try new things. So think of it's kind of, yeah, in the vein of Finnish Steel Storm, but there's new elements. They include, this is going to sound strange, but a lot of the keyboards on it even sound psychedelic to me, and they include the mellotron, which just adds to so much atmosphere. Like, I'm a huge fan of Cathedral, and they've used the mellotron, and I like that psychedelic sound, and it was just like really interesting that a band like Goatmoon decided to use that. But that's what I like about them. They're always broadening the musical boundaries. So yeah, again, this is pretty much in the vein of Finnish Steel Storm with some new elements, so I won't repeat myself, but just some great songs on this. Again, it's a fantastic listen from beginning to end, so I have no complaints. Now, look at this script. It's like the script written by Satanic Warmaster. It's in English, but it's unreadable, so I'm not going to attempt to do it. But anyway, my favorite tracks on this, even though all are great, are track 3. Track 3 is very upbeat and folky sounding with a lot of flutes, but also some amazingly catchy riffs. And from footage of live concerts I've seen, that one seems to be a live favorite. So, and I think, no, that's called Voitto till Valhalla Part 2. Yeah, so that's track 3. Brilliant song. Now, track 5, and I wish I can read this. I wish I could read it, but I can't. So track 5 is my absolute favorite track on the album. That features this really simplistic, slow, repetitive riff, but with such a melancholic atmosphere, and it's lifted by these keyboards, this mellotron over the top. It is so emotive, so melancholic. That is easily my favorite track on the album, and that riff is featured at the beginning of the song. In the end, they just repeat it again and again. I could probably listen to it for an hour without getting sick of it, but that's how good it is. So just so much emotion captured with the mellotron and that slow melancholic riff in that song. It's absolutely brilliant. And the fact that the lyrics are really sort of screechy over the top, it's so emotive. So that is a brilliant song, and track 5, brilliant. And then my other favorite track on this album is track 8. Again, I can't read the title because of the script, but that's just got some triumphant and majestic riffs with some clean Viking vocals. So similarly to Finnish Steel Storm. So yeah, as I've mentioned, it's sort of like the sister album to Finnish Steel Storm, but they incorporate new elements with the psychedelic components and the mellotron. So, as I said, very interesting for a black metal band to do that. All right, so just showing you. First of all, is the disc, and a picture of Black Goat there, and yeah, this booklet, it contains grim pictures of the band and the lyrics, but again, with this script, I swear it's just unreadable. It's a headache. You'd be there all day. So yeah, but again, for me, it might sound strange, but especially with a band like this, lyrics are secondary. It's the music which ultimately counts, but musically brilliant. So yeah. Hey guys, back again. Sorry about that. What happened was my phone memory filled up, which is annoying as fuck. So halfway through a video, you know how it is. So I just had to clear some memory. So yeah, as I was saying, if you're a fan of Goatmoon and you've never checked this album out, I highly recommend it because it's my second favorite and I think it's brilliant. And as I've said, if you like melodic, folky black metal with interesting elements, you know, like new stuff which bands don't normally incorporate, I definitely recommend this. Great melodic, grim black metal. So that's Goatmoon with Voitto till Valhalla. All right, and the last CD which I picked up, this is just going to be a quick one. This is Satanic Warmaster with Baphomet. So as you can see here from the cover, this is just a single, and I think it's like a little taste from his upcoming album. So I think the last full-length album he did was Fimbulwinter, which came out 2015, so about 7 years ago now, and this was long awaited. I think people were wondering, was he going to do another album? But yeah, he definitely is. So yeah, this song Baphomet, as they mentioned here, it says this is taken from the upcoming Satanic Warmaster album Armonganda. So yeah, that is one where at the Steelfest barbecue, which unfortunately I and my friends didn't get to go to because we hadn't pre-bought tickets. We wanted to go. I think they did a like pre-play of the new Satanic Warmaster album, you know, playing some songs from it. So we didn't get to hear that, but I certainly bought this. So what you have with this particular single, this is very much what you've come to expect from Satanic Warmaster, just great riffy Finnish black metal. So everyone knows Satanic Warmaster consists of primarily one guy called Werewolf, and he is just a riff master, very talented. He writes so many epic, brilliant, memorable riffs, and has really... Sorry guys, back once again, the memory cut out. So yes, Werewolf has really honed his style very well in terms of developing from second wave of black metal music. So it's bombastic drumming, excellent riffs, great melancholic yearning kind of atmospheric riffs. That's what you get on this. So that first track, it's, yeah, Baphomet. So as I said, that's the single. That's very good. Then track 2 is called Infernal Armageddon, which is the Nuclear Hell version. I've never heard the original version. That's got some very sort of monotonous vocals in it, which sound a bit different and in your face, but nevertheless very good. And then track 3 is Baphomet, the Atomic Strife version. So there you go. And it just says here, recorded in the Satanic Metal Temple, Satanic Warmaster is Werewolf. So yeah, it's a great taster of what we can expect, just great riffy black metal. What I will say is that, you know, he's varied his styles on different albums, but on this one, there's no keyboards. And also when I saw him play live at Steelfest, his band, it was brilliant, but again, there were no keyboards. So maybe that's an indication of what's to come on the next album. But if you like Satanic Warmaster, you like riffy Finnish black metal, you will love this too. So that's Satanic Warmaster with Baphomet. And it's quite funny, you know, I got those albums were priced at 15 euros each, but they had a deal. It was 3 for 40 or 5 for 60. This single was 5 euros, so I got, technically mine should have been 65 euros, but I took mine up to the guy and he said hi, and then he just looked at the single, knowing it was 5, and went 60 for you. So he gave me a 5 euro discount, so that was very cool. Yeah, so thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'm just going to speed this up because I don't want my memory to run out again, but I'll just say recently I've noticed I've had a few new subscribers. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it because my numbers have been going up and down and been dwindling a lot lately, but I really appreciate everyone's support who continues to watch this channel. So thanks very much. Next time you hear from me, I might be doing a thread in response to Johnny Mac. I'm going to try and do that this week. And then after that, there'll be a new setting because I will have moved house. So wish me luck with that. It's going to be terrible, I'm sure, but hopefully worth it when I get there. So in the meantime, take care, stay safe, and I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.